Hi, my name is Claire.
And I'm Molly.
And this is Book Stupid. This time, featuring a real guest. No offense to our previous guests who are friends.
Though I do hope to count our current guest as a friend.
A friend
soon.
as well. You guys aren't going to believe who we have on the podcast today. We have talked about her so much. She is one of our favorite authors, Miss Catherine Walsh, out of Ireland. She is an author of, did she say 6 books, I think?
She's working on her 8th.
Oh, okay. 7, working on her 8th. And she just recently released How to Write a Love Story, which is on shelves now. We've read it. We love it. Molly said it was her...
It's my favorite Catherine Walsh.
Yeah.
She gets better every time. And the bar is already so high.
Yes. It's my second favorite because Holiday Romance is like in my pantheon of great romance novels. So
yeah, but also How to Write a Love Story didn't stand a chance because it doesn't have airplanes.
Which is the most romantic setting for a romance for me.
For me.
Yeah, so we are interviewing Catherine Walsh today. She gives us some really, really compelling advice on how to write and how to persevere in the difficult industry that is publishing. We're doing this little ditty post interview. That's why I'm using past tense about our conversation. She talks to us about dialogue and how to be funny in a novel, which is a lost art, in my opinion, that she is nailing. And yeah, the new book, just to give a little overview about what it's about, I'll ping pong it to
please,
you.
Won't you? I think the premise is so compelling.
Yes.
Making it my favorite. It centers on Kira and Sam. I was so proud to know how to say Kira's name before it was spelled out for us in the
There's
book.
like a line in the book that's like, she's like, I know it looks like Sierra, but it's Kira. And I was like, of course it's Kira.
Of course it's
because of our Irish friend Kira.
Yeah, it's not our first rodeo.
Yeah.
It centers on Kira and Sam. Kira's the daughter of a token type.
It's kind of like a JK Rowling, if we took out the transphobia and the problematic political positions, but like same kind of like really popular fantasy author. I guess Tolkien is probably also a good example.
Like has a Comic-Con just around the world he's built.
Right. A Pottermore, if you will.
A Pottermore. and I won't.
And I won't. And he has left the rights of his last book to her. Sorry.
Yes.
Go on.
Yep. He's deceased.
He's dead, by the way.
He doesn't finish the series. There's a final book that is yet to be written, and he communicates to his editor that the only person he wants to write it is his daughter.
Yeah.
And that editor sends his wonderkind director to Ireland to help pull the story out of Kira. And that's not all he does.
Yeah. He does they kiss. And it was such a delight to read. And yeah, as you said, like every new book she puts out, it's like she's one of those authors for me that I'm like, download to Kindle immediately.
You gotta read this book, you guys. It's
yeah, it's really good. And while you're at it, read the whole library because Molly and I have read all of her books.
Yes.
And yeah, we had an amazing conversation, and I think you guys are really gonna enjoy it. So,
without further ado, here's that interview.
Yeah. Oh, and also, sorry, I've been told that I was mouth breathing into the mic. A lot. So the first at least 10 minutes you'll be hearing me doing like a Hector impersonation on the Yeti mic, and I apologize for that.
Sorry for party rocking.
All right. Today we are joined by Catherine Walsh, author of How to Write a Love Story and many other of our favorite novels. We've talked about you a lot on the podcast, so we are so excited to have you here today.
I'm so excited to be here. Thank you guys for having me.
Oh my God. Well, we just to kick us off, maybe Molly and I first discovered you actually when we were in Ireland on a trip. Yeah. visiting our friend who lives outside of Galway. And we went, it was there for the first time, and I was like, I want to read an Irish romance novel while I'm there. So I was just like, Irish romance author, and I found holiday romance.
My SEO. That's
SEO strategy is excellent.
Yeah. And we started reading it, and then Molly and I started racing to see who could finish it first because we were so obsessed with it. So
we were also like staying in a bedroom, like in twin beds, feet from each other, and we would like agree to go to sleep, and Siege would see I call her Siege, would see the glow of my screen and be like, "You're reading, I know you are.
I'm gonna catch up with you."
And we couldn't stop reading it to the point where I finally finished it, like more hungover than I've ever been on a bus from Galway to Dublin. It was a balm to my very sore spirit. And we've been reading you ever since. Most recently, How to Write a Love Story. Which similarly couldn't put it down. Would you mind I feel like we just introed our backgrounds to you, but I'd love to hear it. Does it resonate like Irish romance author? Is what's behind the SEO?
I mean, that's it. That's my thing. I feel like it's a crowded market, and I'm just trying to find my corner of it. Although I always say that I do write. I try to write globally, so I try to write for everybody, so that if you've never been to Ireland, if you've never met an Irish person, you can still understand it. Because we do have our own in-jokes and our own vernacular and things like that. But I'm always delighted to like represent our little island, because I never wrote Irish characters before I started writing romance. It was just something I avoided. I don't know why. I think it was like uncool to be Irish, and now it's really cool again. So I'm just like riding that wave, and I love it. I love getting to like explore all our themes and stuff. Sorry, I'm holding a dog. Just for the listeners. So I'm so glad about that, and I'm so glad you came here. I hope Galway was fun.
Oh, loved it. I think we did a couple days in Dublin, and then a few days in Galway. Just loved it.
Dublin, so I'm always Dublin proud. So glad to hear it.
Cool. Yeah, so much fun.
So many cigarettes.
Yeah. So much Guinness. So you mentioned that you didn't start writing like Irish characters first. What was the kind of like your inroad to starting?
I mean, my very first book, would you even call it a book? It was a fantasy novel that was a complete like rip-off of everything I was reading at the time. It was terrible. And then I started writing historical fiction because I really liked research, and I really liked I mean, I didn't know what I wanted to write. I didn't know what I was doing, so I was just writing for the sake of writing. So I wrote historical fiction set in the States, and then I started writing romance because I thought that was popular, and I read a lot. And it was an editor who suggested to me that why don't I just write Irish people? And I was like, oh, I don't know. And I loved it, and it really unlocked something inside of me. So and then that's what I've been doing ever since, I think. So it's not like I will always write Irish characters, or like I used to never write it. It's just how it worked out, I think.
Yeah, interesting. And did you were you surprised that you were into writing romance, or?
No, like it's so funny because I think since becoming a romance writer, I have really thought a lot about it, and I have always loved romance, but I didn't know that I did. Like, it's just that in my reading, I still read really widely, but I would always seek out the romance storyline in it. Like, that's what I wanted, and I was disappointed when I didn't get it, or there wasn't a satisfying ending to me. But I didn't really interrogate that too much. Do you know what I mean? I wasn't
totally
reader. I was just reading. Like, this was like pre-Goodreads and pre like everything. I think we think a lot more about what we read and how we read, and I think it's good and bad, but I wasn't like that at all. And so I wouldn't have even called myself like a romance reader. I was just a reader. And now knowing the genre, knowing the parameters, I'm like, oh yeah, no, I have always I am romance like to the core. And sort of coming of age as a writer during its boom as a genre has been incredible and exciting, but also like terrifying because I will never be able to catch up on everything, and I'm just like, what is going on? But it's brilliant. It's like I come around at the exact same time. I mean, like, even now, so many bookshops do not have like a romance shelf there or anything like that. And that's why there's like all these incredible independent romance bookstores opening up, and they're doing really well. And it's like, yeah, duh, you guys. Like,
Yeah.
So yeah, it's really, really exciting, and I'm very, very proud to call myself a romance author now.
Yeah. I mean, I really liked how in this most recent book, sorry for the sirens if you can hear those. But yeah, very. I really liked how you talked about like this fantasy novel, how people really cared about the romance. Like that's why a lot of people are reading it, because I think that's so true. Like, and to your point, like you don't even realize how much you care about that sometimes, and then you're like, it's kind of the whole book.
That's it. But also, like, because romance done well, I think in books, it is the heart of the story. That's usually where you're putting the most effort into, you know, unless you have like a villain and a villain goes on for me, it's where you're putting the most effort into characters. And even if readers don't realize it, that's what they're connecting to. Like, you can have a battle scene, you can have whatever. It means nothing if it's not about who you're fighting for. And I think it's as strong as a familial connection, really. So that was like really purposeful. I wanted that in there. I wanted to show, like, because that's how I discovered romance. I think it was subplots in other genres for sure.
Totally.
Completely.
Molly's a huge fantasy reader, so romantasy too, I should say.
Yeah, Claire likes to kind of drag me like I like dragons. No, I like love. I read it for the love.
And dragons.
Dragons, sue me.
And the magic.
Yeah. Do you have like formative romance texts or movies that kind of lit it up for you?
I was definitely, so again, I think because like I didn't read romance books when I was a kid, it was definitely like the movies. So Nora Ephron was huge for me, still is huge for me. She is my like idol. Like, she is what I want to, like, if I can get as good at her, half as good at her, like, I will be a happy woman. I find her amazing. And I remember, again, as a kid, A Walk to Remember. I had a DVD of that, and I would just watch it over and over and over and over and over again. And so like films like that, when I was like 10 to like 14, I just like devoured. But again, for literature, it wasn't really until now that I'm like actively reading romance.
Rewatching A Walk to Remember takes real emotional fortitude. You were beating yourself up.
Like, it was that, and then I was on my Nicholas Sparks kick, because it was like that and The Notebook, and I would just oh my god, like some scenes in which I didn't even realize, but now looking back, I'm like, oh, that's what was happening there. Was like Ryan Gosling like has the beard, and I'm like, okay,
oh yeah,
I fight, and I like. Okay, here we go. I ripped that scene on YouTube and I put it on my iPod of like when they're arguing, and because I was just like, oh my god, I had so many feelings, and I would just listen to that. I'm sure I have that audio somewhere. I'm sure I do.
That's so awesome.
So that's why I'm where I'm at now in my life.
We talk about, like, on the pod, we've discussed this a lot, actually, how like the best romance has this veneer of sadness too. Like, there has to be real loss to make the stakes of the love great enough. We also talk about like Ireland is such a good setting for that kind of love. But I totally resonate with the Notebook fight scene. Like, it takes that kind of loss to really punch up the stakes.
Yeah, she's unbelievable.
You know, what was it? The award show where they kiss? Just like
yeah. MTV Movie Awards.
Do you have that on your iPad too?
That's also on my iPad. The attention, it was amazing. Like, and that's the thing I think a lot of romance, not talking about movies, a lot of romance movies are missing these days, is that like it's not about celebrities, it's about you need the chemistry. And romance movies work so well when there's actual chemistry between the leads and not just like the hot person of the day. Do you know what I mean?
Totally. I have a question about this. So I think I already have said that holiday romance is my favorite of your books. But I think one thing that you do really well in that is like build that chemistry between them over such a long period of time, and like with all of these time jumps. And this is kind of maybe a hard question to answer, but like, how do you build that?
Like, it's such a boring answer, because like I was so conscious of that. So that was my first time writing Friends to Lovers, and the chemistry was just instantaneous, and that's always how I know I have the couple that I want to write about. Like this always sounds so pretentious, but they are real people to me. Like all my characters are very, very real people. Like they tell me what they're doing. It's why like I don't plot or anything, because I'm like, I don't know what they're gonna do until I put them in a scene. So they just naturally have chemistry. They're naturally those people. I work best when people are like flirting and teasing, and it's a very Irish thing to like tease and make fun of people. And sometimes my editor's like, oh, they seem really mean here. I'm like, no, they're fine. But I was really conscious of friends to lovers. Like the friendship bit came easy, but like it was getting those beats, because I never believe when it's like they were secretly in love since they were 8, and I'm like, no, they weren't. So you want, and I also wanted to show that like a friendship between two people can be really real and gorgeous and platonic, and that's what it was for them for so long, before sort of naturally progressing. But I also hope that I could have shown that they could easily have not have gotten together and still had this wonderful friendship for the rest of their days.
Totally.
But chemistry, like it is, unfortunately, it's, I presume it's like a thriller writer coming up with the best twist ever. It is just like, it just comes to you and you're just like, okay, cool. And if it doesn't, I'm like, right, these are the wrong people for the job right now.
And do you just like kind of throw it out and start from scratch in a situation like that?
Kind of, yeah. Like I always say I write really, really fast and I edit really, really slow. I'm still editing now. I'm 3 weeks late. So when I'm coming up with an idea, I mean, it's very rare I have to throw it out, but that's usually because if I'm going to go more than 500 words, the people will come to me. Now, maybe they will change, like in How to Write a Love Story. I know Kira like changed, but that was me finding out who she was, as opposed to, you know, me just saying, oh, I want a sad character. Like I just had to find out who she was, and that just took a few drafts, I think.
That is really interesting.
But it's bad writing advice, because you can't go away and do that. I'm just like, I don't know.
Well, I don't know if it's working for you. Like, yeah. I think Molly and I have talked about this. Like, one thing we really like about your books is like they're very funny, and that like your dialogue, I think it comes really like through in the dialogue a lot. Mm-hmm. Like, do you have any tips for writing dialogue?
I do, because I think it comes from the movie thing of watching a lot of movies. But so I find my biggest pet peeve in books is stilted dialogue. And to me, whenever there is stilted dialogue, it is when an author is thinking purely of the plot. I truly believe this. I think they just need to move the plot along. So you need to go, would you like to go to A now? Yes, I would. You know, and it's like, instead of going, hey, I want to go over here. Like it's they're thinking of the plot and not what people actually talk like. And that is a fine balance. Because if we were to put down our conversation right now in verbatim, it's very long and very boring. But you know, you can still, you add in the ticks, you condense it, you react. How the characters should talk like your friends.
Yeah.
They should. So they make mistakes, they say stupid things, they say funny things. If someone, whenever, you know, an editor inserts a line or something, it always sounds false to me, because I'm like, well, they would never say that, and that's just because we need to get to the next chapter, but actually that's not what's happening.
Yeah. And
that's also why I can't plot, because I'll get to like this big great twist that I was going to write, and I'm like, oh, well, they would never do that. So I had to start again. Like, I'm just like, well, what's happening now? And that did happen in a book once. I forget what it was, but like, come the second chapter, I was like, oh. And I was like, she would never, ever do this. And I have to stick with her. So I think anyone who thinks of them as real people, and if you let them slightly lead you through your story, A, the writing will come easier, but B, they will feel so much realer. I can always tell when a character isn't real to somebody, when they're just there to kill the guy or solve the murder or what. Do you know what I mean? They need to be real people. And then you just got to, it makes your job harder, but it makes the story realer if they need to do what you want them to do.
I don't think this is pretentious at all, or I'm pretentious, because I'm like, yes, let that character lead you.
Pretentious.
Yeah. I think that's really awesome. And like, I think Molly and I, if I can speak for us, I feel like dialogue is at this point the thing that's coming easiest to us. I don't know, Molly, do you feel that way?
Yeah, I think that's fair.
And I really like that idea of just like leaning into that and letting that guide you.
Because I was doing an interview last week and I was asked, if I do it on purpose, and I'm like, that's just how I write, dude. Like it's what I enjoy most, and it took me a while to figure that out, but that is just how I write. And so it's finding what you're comfortable with. Like, I'm not comfortable writing prose. Prose takes me a while to write. I unfortunately have to do it because I write novels. But I try to find then a really like chatty inner voice that so the prose is more like dialogue in a way, but all my action really takes place in dialogue. And that's just how I write. And for some authors, it doesn't work at all. And that's okay too. And, so it is just finding what works best for you, as opposed to trying to force yourself into a style that just doesn't fit. But sometimes that might take you a few years or a few books to figure it out, like figure out how it works. Like, I'm still learning. There's no right or wrong way to do it. But I will say, if you're getting the dialogue down, I think that is something that is much harder to fix later. So if you're feeling it now, you're enjoying it now, I think that's like, it's luck, but it's great luck to have. I think it's really, really great.
Yeah, and I also think that's like such a good thing that I haven't thought about, of like being wary of not making the dialogue to like focus on moving the plot along, because I think that's such a hard thing to balance, of like having plot and having fun at the same time. I don't know.
But letting them lead, like, this is, I know it sounds like kind of hard advice to follow, because it's like you have these characters as real people or you don't, but that actually sounds so freeing. Like, yeah, they'll tell me what the plot is.
Yeah,
it's true though. And like, and when you get stuck, all you do is you throw something at them. Like, you throw a situation at them and see how they react. And in our genre, in the romance genre, we can do that. You can't do that in a tightly plotted thriller. Like, they're stuck. But they chose their fate. So in romance, we have so much more room to play. So I think, and maybe that's why you guys are drawn to romance as well. It's like, that's what comes naturally to you.
Play is the right word, I think. I love that. You mentioned like having characters sound like your friends. Do you ever reference real people in your life? Honestly, Mary Mackin in How to Write a Love Story is everything to me. I know her. I've been her at turns.
No. What?
A bit of a gossip.
I know is the answer. I have used names sometimes, but that is purely because I have real trouble like picking names. And what will happen to me is I'll just like look at my bookshelf, and then my editor will be like, you can't name someone Charles Dickens. And I'll be like, oh yeah, that makes sense. I'm sorry. So sometimes my friends' names will find their way into the books, or indeed like I land on a name for a character and I can't change it. Like I sometimes have to ask my friend, because it might be like her boyfriend's name, and I'll be like, can I use it? Because I can't change it or else I'll die. And then but no, people in real life, no one. I know a lot of authors do borrow heavily from real life, which is like so lovely. I don't do that at all. I think because they're real people, so they're just in my head. I don't need to like, not that I don't need to, but I rarely look outside of my head to write books. That sounds worrying, but that's how it works. Yeah, they're all just up there having a great time.
Kira is my favorite of your female protagonists to date, by the way. I think she is so funny. And like, so I like how dark she is. Like, she's very like, maybe dark isn't the right word, but she's so deadpan.
Yeah, she's dark, yeah.
Laughed out loud at the graveyard scene. You're gonna look so stupid if this is my dad. Out loud.
I'm gonna say that's a joke that like was first draft, was in the first draft, and like, like I don't know if you ever guys find this when you write a scene and you're just like, this is a forever scene. Like, I don't care if people find this stupid. I'm like, I think it's hilarious.
Oh, and it was.
It's what like, I know might not be what I would do, but it's what she would do. And it's how she would act, and that is how she copes with things. It is humor, and it's dark humor. And yeah, I loved her. I worked really hard on her because she did not come easy to me. And I really did have to sort of peel back those layers, because, it was really, really difficult. Like, is she, because she's lost her dad, but people haven't read her book. And it's that thing of, how sad can she be while it's still being very much a romantic comedy, because I do take the genre very, very seriously, in that a romantic comedy to me needs to be funny. It needs to be light, not just line by line, but in overall tone. And that doesn't mean you can't get deep and you can't get dark and explore things, but overall you got to have that Nora Ephron lightness at the end. So I was really pleased with how she turned out. So I'm so glad that you connected with her.
I thought she was so funny, genuinely. Another thing I really liked is when Sam goes into the room that she made up for him, and he picks up the flowers, and she's like, "I'm being nice." This is me being nice. I was like, that's something my friends would say. You know.
Completely. Wait, well, Claire was speculating on Kira's star sign, because we know there's a reference to Sam being a Gemini, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
I have no idea.
Okay.
So
I have thoughts.
You can tell me, and it will make a canon. Like,
okay. I think she's a Scorpio. Yeah. Maybe I was saying maybe a Virgo, but I'm getting Scorpio energy from her.
See, I'm a Virgo, so
okay.
Not that we're the best, me and Beyonce, but I quite enjoy that. But that's interesting, actually. And again, that, like, the star sign thing came in because that's like Maddie's thing. Like, she's a star sign.
Yeah.
You only get it from that one line. But like that, it's that kind of a.
Yeah, and I loved when she like was kind of mean to Sam when he was like, "I don't know my star sign." She was like, "You're such a man." And I was like, "That is the thing I've said to so many men."
Open your heart.
Yeah, literally. Live a little. Also, I think that like something that's missing from a lot of romance, like, not to be too critical of the genre we love, but like I think humor is often like missing from a lot of these books, and so it's so refreshing.
I think there's almost been a pushback against comedy as a genre. I think because so many dramatic romances were labeled as romantic comedies, not by authors, and they're a bit like, well, I want to go dark, or I want to explore this, and so there's been a bit of a pushback, and I'm like, no. I'm flying the flag. But again, it's a subgenre in itself that has its own sort of beats and things like that. And again, it's not that you can get deep, but I'm like, let's have some jokes, and that is something I do push back against in my edits. My editors sometimes look for drama or tension, or like, should we go serious here? And I always try and listen to them and let them guide me, but sometimes I'm just like, no, like I'm gonna go joke here, or I'm gonna do funny here, because that's what it's a balance you need to have, where the romance still needs to be serious, but everything around it needs to be serious.
Yeah.
You uphold the contract, for sure.
For sure.
I get comedy. Can you tell us more, actually, about the relationship with your editor? Obviously, it's like central to your latest book.
Yeah.
I assume it's not true to life. I assume you don't have romantic entanglement with your editor.
Unfortunately, man. I would not get a book written, though, I'll tell you that. The editor relationship is so important, but also like bizarre, and it's the same that you might have with an agent. It is a very, very close relationship, but I have had so many editors. I've had more or less an editor a book. It's just the way things have worked out for me, through nobody's fault, and it's always an adjustment. And I have a lot of good friends who are also editors, so I hear their side of the story. So I really approach my books A, from the author perspective, but B, also from, how do I not piss this person off? So like it is, because they're acting like they're acting as your guide through the publishing process. They are acting as your manager in a way, in that for a lot of times everything goes through your editor, and they protect you from a lot of stuff. They're your champion in-house, so in the publishing house. If your editor isn't behind you, might as well not be published. And then B, they're working on your story, and their job is to, with all their authors, help them write the best book that they can write. The best editor never inserts into a book, but helps you figure it out, and helps you sort of piece it all together. And it's a really, really difficult job to do right. And some authors love to be edited. Some authors hate being edited. I love being edited. I think editing is when the book becomes a book. And so I take it very, very seriously. But like the book I'm writing now, which is the book for next year, that I've really struggled with it. They basically had to, I'm in the third round of edits right now, and they've given me like this whole subplot I could do, and it's up to me then to figure out how to do with that what I want, and how to insert it, and if I want what I want to drop, what I want to keep. But like they've had to go, I think, a slightly extra mile to assist me there, and that's their job. And then sometimes they're like, this is fine, and it's just like tick, 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 tick. So everyone's relationship is different. I view it as a really friendly, professional one. So I talk very unprofessionally to my editor, but at the end of the day, it is a professional relationship. So, you know, more or less meet my deadlines, except for right now, and behave appropriately. But it's really hard to define, I think, because every relationship is different when it comes to the author, editor, agent level. It's and you'll never know what you want from it until you go through it. If that makes sense.
It does, yeah. That makes total sense.
Yeah, and I do think that, sorry, Molly.
No, go ahead.
Like, editing is just, I mean, I don't know because I've never been through this process, but it seems like editing is just as valuable as writing, you know? So
I think it's more valuable. Now, it depends on what kind of writer you are. I call myself a trash writer. So when I write, I'm just like, la, 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 la,
yeah.
And I'm like, I'll figure it out. Editing really should show you what the story is.
Yeah.
And especially, you know, if you're writing your first book, you have as much time as you want. But when you're editing, you know, you've got months or weeks sometimes. And also, I do think you can teach writing to an extent. No one teaches you how to edit. And even sometimes editors don't realize how incredibly difficult it is. And it is so hard. And I know I have not met an author who doesn't intensely struggle with it. It's a bizarre thing to do and to go through, but you have to go through it. And I know a lot of people get really stuck, especially if you go through your first editing process. A lot of people really struggle writing the second book then, because they have editing in their brain.
Oh, interesting.
It's two completely different skill sets. It's not to like be so down about it, but like, because I love it, it's my favorite part of the process, but like oh my god, it's a brain workout. Like it is intense. But that's why I think it's really important for aspiring authors who want to be published to know that, like, you know, the book that you're working on and polishing, if you're worried about it, I'm like, you don't understand. Like, we go through levels and levels and levels from what you see on the shelf. So you know, help is there for sure.
I'm actually finding this very like inspiring, because I'm like, I feel like so much pressure to be like, oh my god, we talk a lot about the Save the Cat or Saves the Cat, we always say it wrong, novel breakdown. And like, I get so stressed about like the idea of hitting all of these beats, and it's like, there's people out there to help you actually do that.
And also, don't forget, if you're a lover of the genre, that's natural to you. It is 100% natural to you.
That is really actually like very inspiring to me.
I could not sit down, as much as I love, like, say, a thriller. I haven't read enough. I know if I sit down, I'll be like, someone figure this out for me, because I won't know. Romance, I don't need to look at a beat sheet. I know it. I know right now, the book I'm writing right now, the ending is a bit flat right now. Like, in my head, I was like, this morning, I was like, oh god. And I know instinctively, I need to do that. And I promise you, as readers, that's already inside you. You don't need to like hit the map, because that's also then what can feel false. And you often see readers talking about how they hate third act breakups or something. I love a third act breakup. And like, but sometimes it's because it can feel false, because the author was just like, I need to put something in here, I need to have this climax, I need to do this, but it's not the story. So go with your gut when it comes to things like that, for sure.
Okay, that's really good advice, because I think I will say, like, in life I'm a by the seat of the pants girl, but like in this process I've been trying to be a plotter, and it's really not. Like,
well, there you go. If it's not working for you, stop. But if it is, don't be afraid to go with it. There's no right way to write it.
Cool.
I love that. Third act breakup. You stressed me out so much with the conflict in this book. I think that's what's so successful about it, though. I mean, like, you know, you're stacking all of this like tension about the book, tension within the relationship, and now a tree goes through the house.
So that's definitely like the most dramatic thing I've ever written. And my agent did confess to me. We were at lunch last year, and she was like, "I have to admit, like when you sent it to me in the synopsis, I was like, what? Like, what's she doing?" But then I think it works out fine. I was like, I said, it's a storm, and it's dramatic and symbolic, yeah, I think it works out really well. But like, even that was always the ending, but even like working up before that, I was like, oh, like sometimes you do have to manufacture drama, and that is so you can get the results, which I don't think a lot of readers understand, is that you need to have something so we can get X, Y, and Z. Like so we can get that promise of a happy ever after beyond the last page. But it can be really difficult figuring out what that's going to be. Like,
I was so impressed by it. It's so hard. I think honestly it's why I gravitate towards romantasy, because like you can add in all of these like imagined layers of conflict
and
that don't have to be done.
I'm gonna stab you, and I'm like, if I can't say that, I'm not allowed to say that in my rom-coms. Like,
no.
We had to have the tree stab the house instead.
Symbols.
Yeah.
It's hard. Also, my least favorite conflict is just like predicated on miscommunication. It's just like, well, if you could have just talked to each other. So I really appreciate how
difficult.
you built.
But that's not like miscommunication can still really, really work in a book. And like it's again, it's how it's done and how the characters themselves deal with it.
Totally.
I do think miscommunication gets a bad rep, but like also I think sometimes as writers, like what can be really fun to write, people can like roll their eyes when they're reading, but it's fun to write and explore when as a writer. I also challenge anyone to like write a book without like something like that in it.
Yeah.
Completely, yeah.
And because it's also like very real to life of like I don't want to talk to my boyfriend right now. Yeah, or like
I'm someone who like I love a grudge. I like I just like I'm not going to tell you I'm mad at you, but
yeah.
And because let's create some drama.
Yeah.
So I mean that's what I do. So why can't people in the book do it?
Yeah, exactly. Speaking of tropes, do you have like a favorite and a least favorite?
I definitely I'm different when it comes to reading and writing.
Okay.
So writing, I love A Friends to Lovers. I think I was my experience writing holiday romance. I think I am the dog just sighed. I think I am like really happiest when I'm just like writing flirting and teasing and all of that. I really dislike writing arguments. I have to do them a lot in the book I'm writing now, and like I just like I have to do it, but like I'm like so that's the exact noise I make. And then reading, give me anything, man, because I read when it comes to romance, I'll read like anything you throw at me, any level, like it's absolutely fine. So I haven't come across a trope that I really dislike.
Okay.
Yeah, like give me all of them.
Yeah.
Like I'll read Surprise Pregnancy, sure, give it to me. Like, let's go. But no, yeah.
Do you have a favorite that you like to read? Did you already say that? Sorry.
I know. I was trying to think there.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't know. That's why I started rambling. I really don't. I mean, I think Enemies to Lovers is a difficult one to get right.
That's
but when you get it right, it is like I would also like. This is my therapy session now. I would also like The Return of the Love Triangle, which was my teenage years. Like just every book I read was like love triangle. And they're also like evil.
That is also a hard one to get right, though. Love triangle.
It is. But like when you're just like beginning your romance journey and you're like, will she go for the slightly bad other guy? And then the moment she did, and you're like, oh, that's what I wanted. And that was like really, so I like bring back that yearning. So again, Enemies to Lovers, I think a lot of the time they're just like, he's mean to her for one chapter and then everything's fine, and I'm just like, well, that doesn't count. He needs to want to stab her.
Exactly. There needs to be like real beef.
Exactly. So I do love that, but like I do love that kind of villain thing, but it needs to be done right.
Yeah. Enemies to Lovers is my favorite, and you're right. It's like there's like the best ones ever and then everything else.
Right?
Yeah.
There's no in between, girls. That's
Do you mind if I ask a spicy one? We, being aspiring first-time authors and also Irish Catholics, are having a hard time writing sex. And it's a plot point in your latest. I'd love to hear about your process with it. If you
I've
don't
just been
mind.
avoiding it, which is very Catholic of me.
But no, it's okay. I mean, the Pope wants you to have sex.
That's true, as long as I'm married and have a
He's
baby.
like, please just close the door, you know? No one else needs to know. And yeah, there must always be a baby. Surprise pregnancy, but like, so for me, it's strange because as a reader, when I say I read everything, I read everything. And I'm very, very, like, just in real life, like, you can TMI me any day. I'm fine. I'm like, tell me anything. Tell me your bowel movements. Let's go. Like, I'm here to listen and learn. But as a writer, I realized, not that I had like a line, but I was like, here's what comes naturally to me to write. And I really tried to write, you know, I tried experimenting with different words and you know, like, because it sounded so false to me and so fake coming from me. And it was really about like, okay, well, what's true to my voice? It doesn't matter that I can read whatever I want to read. Like, what's true to my voice? And like, I wasn't even thinking of like the genre or my audience. I was just thinking like, what can I do? And for it to be real. And I know readers talk about this a lot, and I also find that I hate it. Like when, not hate, that's such a strong word, but like, you know, when you're reading and all of a sudden this very, very spicy scene comes out of nowhere and these characters are using words that I'm like, what is happening right now? And I that takes me out. It does take me out of it. And that's actually why I read a lot of erotica, and I think it's because the characterization can be really, really consistent in erotica. Because they're not suddenly switching for the bedroom. It's like it's the whole book that is who they are. And so I do sometimes find that spicy scenes can absolutely take you out of the book and really ruin a reading experience for people. I also hate that pushback from authors who choose not to write sexy scenes and are sometimes very like almost anti-sex. It's almost gone the other way now as well. So it's about finding what's comfortable for you and sticking with it. Like if you want to write sex, then it is just a bit of practice. And like with anything, and you gotta keep trying. But if you don't want to, or if it's not working for you, you don't need to. I refuse to believe that romance needs to have it, like, at all.
I get disappointed when there's not. I'll be honest. So I'm like,
then it's you trying. I mean, I've had books that have been more closed door than others. I've had books where I'm like, it's natural for these two. I mean, my first book was a book called One Night Only, and I was told by my editors not to put sex scenes in it. And I was like, okay. And that's actually one of the things, like, it felt very unnatural for there not to be a sex scene.
Because that's about a one night stand, isn't it?
It is. I was like, the couple will have sex, and I wanted them to have sex, and I wish I could go back and like put a sex scene in it, because I was like, this, you know. But sometimes I'm writing a book and I'm like, you know, we don't need to see it at this story. Like, it's fine. But I am also thinking of readers and what readers expect. I am the same. I'm very comfortable reading sex scenes. So when I have a book that doesn't go there, I'm like, well, because also, like, in romance, they can be very, very important scenes, and it's often, you know, two characters emotionally coming together, and they can be really, really vital scenes. So I mean, certainly in all of mine, I usually have like one really important one and then like one just for fun. So, you know, but it's about what you want to do as a writer. And I know I also hate that, like, I have a lot of author friends who feel really pressured to write those scenes, and they're not comfortable writing those scenes, and they shouldn't feel like that either. But it is unfortunately just what's popular at the moment. I was just going to say, like, I thought the first sex scene, which I think is the emotional important one in this book, was like so also like true to Kira, like when she like is like, I'm getting on top. I was like, that is so her. And again, that's something really important. Like if all of a sudden the dude is all like saying like dirty talk or something, and I'm like, but you've been a sweet quiet boy the entire time. Like, I'd be like, what? Like, like when they start saying like sweetheart out of nowhere, I'm like, oh my god. Like, and equally, like, sex is like, you know, unless it's this kind of heightened world, it needs to be real, it needs to be funny, and you need to like make mistakes and laugh and
Totally.
things don't fit and whatever, like that. Obviously you have to reach for the contraception and there's no contraception, and what do we do? Like, it needs to be real while still being sexy.
Yeah, I mean the two condoms in this one was like a fun real detail.
Laugh. I was
yeah.
So yeah, because and that's why I love a sex scene. I love to see those characters be at the most vulnerable with each other, and it's lovely.
Totally.
That's a great way of putting it. I think like your tip about language is probably the biggest unlock for me too. Like it feels like there's such a codified set of words that are used consistently for those scenes across the genre, but words that I have never personally said out loud.
like it's so true. There you go. And I mean, unless you're writing about like, I don't know, I was going to generalize something. I was like, don't do that. But like, unless you're going to write about this character, there's no need. Your average Joe on the street isn't going to. There's nothing that draws me out of a book more. But again, that's just, writing you. You write your voice and don't worry about what everybody else is doing. Oh my God, I'm so inspirational.
Truly you are. I just have some like general, like, how did you, I guess with your first book, like did you have like a full-time job? Because that's something I think that's like what we struggle with right now is like finding time to write.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Full-time job. Like I have been writing full-time for 4 years now, which is incredible.
Yeah.
I never ever thought genuinely ever thought I'd be able to do that. My plan was always to, if I ever got published, it would be writing in the evenings and weekends. And that is still what most writers do.
Yeah.
They do it, and sometimes they don't talk about it, sometimes they do. Because I'm always prepared to, I always say to my like friends and family, like I'll go back to the office when I have to, like, that's just the nature of this career. You could be flying high for 10 years and then going down next 5. So I wrote for years and didn't get published, like just fail. No. And so I was used to writing in the evenings, writing in the weekends. I was used to giving up my time. When I got like the first kind of open door for me to run through, COVID was just happening. And I was working I was working in a sector that was heavily involved in the COVID response in Ireland. So I was incredibly busy. So I had this balance of, I was stuck at home, I didn't have a commute, / I was working 7 days a week, often 12 hours a day for a few months. Like it was crazy. But because of that, I had like, a small section of time, and I used that time. And for me, it's consistency. And that is what I think any writer will tell you. It is consistency. And you're tired and it sucks, but you just have to be, even if you're not writing anything and you just get 5 words down, just do it. You also have to take things out like of your life. And I know like some extroverts have like come to me and been like, I want to be a writer. I'm like, you'll never be a writer. You have to give up everything. And you do. Like I and again, this is like a COVID thing. I remember when like I was opening back up and people were like meeting friends and I was just still in the bedroom and I had a contract at that stage. And so that could be an hour of TV at night. It could be an hour of sleep in the morning. You have to give something up if you're going to add this in. You have to be prepared to do it for a very, very long time because it's a marathon, not a sprint. And then when it wasn't until I had my contract, and I hadn't been paid for the contract. My first few books, I only got paid via royalties, not an advance, like a lot of authors. So, there's no money involved, but it was my very first contract, and I would work between 7 and 10 every night. So I'd have those 2-hour blocks every night, and then I would try and do 5 hours Saturday, 5 hours Sunday. And that was it.
That is a lot.
It's a lot, but I had to do it. So I was 2 books a year at that stage. And again, like I went for it. I absolutely went for it. Because I had been trying for about 10 years and I had my first chance and I was like, let's go. I did have a breakdown about 2 years ago. So I wouldn't recommend it. I 100% reached burnout, and I would never do that now. But by that stage, I was able to quit my job. But again, I wanted it. And so you do. I mean, you can get lucky, and your first book sells for 7 figures, and everything's fine, and it all comes easy to you. Or like a lot of writers are several books in, still working full time, and they've got a family, and they've got a dog, and they want to, also like eat. So it is hard. and that's another thing I always tell aspiring authors, because there's all this focus on writing and getting the publishing deal. It's a whole different world after you get the publishing deal.
Yeah.
And people never think you might have to write a book a year for the next 10 years alongside your full-time job.
Oh my God.
And that's 2 full-time jobs. Like
Yeah.
that is 100% 2 full-time jobs.
Yeah.
And so it like, you have to want it.
Yeah.
More than anything, you have to want it and be prepared to not get a lot in return. Like because that's a game of, look, I was interviewing Ali Hazelwood a few weeks ago, and she said something.
We love her.
I had as well. It's like
Yeah.
I was so nervous. She was so lovely, and she said something that really stuck with me, because we were talking about bestsellers or something, and she is so humble, and she was just like, it's just luck, like, because like any, the randomest book becomes a bestseller. She's like, I have so many of my favorite books that no one's read.
Yeah.
So it is a game of luck. You can write a really wonderful book, but it might take a while for it to find its readership. So I forget what your question was, but it's just
Honestly, same. So
up now.
yeah.
It's tough, man.
Yeah, I think, that's just, it's like I think being consistent is like the most important thing, and also the biggest challenge, because it's just like life is, it's very busy.
It is, and you have to give yourself a break, and you have to
Yeah.
say, okay, it is more important than these 5 things, but not as important
Yeah.
as my relationship. Like, you have to, it is more important than maybe doing the dishes and finding your dog, but it's not more important than my children. Like,
Right.
you have to slot it in, but live your life at the same time. Like,
Yeah.
100%.
I'm always happy to put off doing the dishes, so yeah.
You have my permission.
Thank you.
I can no longer do laundry. Catherine, is there anything you want to plug? You mentioned the project you're working on, but is there anything else you want to hype up?
No, just constantly support Love Me, please.
Yeah.
Yes.
I also loved in your acknowledgements when you were like, I'd like to thank me first
People keep
for doing
pointing
this.
that, and I'm like, no, I'm being so serious.
Yeah, no.
I did so much work, and everyone else just kind of like piggybacked off of me.
Yeah,
No one
literally.
worked as hard as I did. Thank you to me.
Yeah. And I think we should all practice that more. Thank you to me.
Okay, so we ask each other the same question every episode of the podcast, and the question is, what's the most romantic thing that happened to you this week? Kind of just like on the premise that everything is romantic. So we would love to ask you, but don't want to put you on the spot either.
Well, I don't want to brag, but I left the house last night. I went to a gig and I had Indian food, and 2 things. A guy was like trying to get out of our row of seats, and he spilt my wine, and then he was like, I'll buy you another wine, and then he did promptly purchase me another wine, and I was like, thank you, sir, and he was like, no problem. Great. I was like, what a nice little thing. And then on the way back, I was like, you know what, you're successful and wonderful, treat yourself, get a taxi. Hopped into a taxi, just had a really lovely chat with the guy. We just, he was just like an old Dublin guy, and we just had like the most lovely conversation. Every green light, like, I was like, what a world. Like, it was just, what a wonderful night with my 1.5 glasses of wine and the nice taxi man bringing me home. And just those like little simple things of a night out, I find genuinely extremely romantic, actually. Just those like little, like life romance, like just that, like everything's working out, we're all just people in this world, like let's just go. Now again, that might be the wine speaking, but it was lovely. I had a lovely time.
That was a perfect
I
answer.
love that.
Yeah.
Perfect answer.
Yeah. Molly, can I ask you?
Oh, are we going now? Yeah, sure.
Well, do you want to hear our most romantics? You don't have to, Gather.
No, I don't care.
Sure, Claire, you can ask me.
Okay, sure. What's the most romantic thing that happened to you this week?
We always have a little bit of a recency bias, but
Yeah.
mine did happen this morning. I was in the elevator taking the dog outside, and he was standing in front of the doors. I was standing like to the side where when the doors opened, you could not see me. You could only see the dog. And a guy was standing waiting for the elevator, and all I heard was him go, hell yeah, when he saw my dog alone. Hell yeah. And I thought that was so romantic.
That's
Just a
really
guy
cute.
Getting super enthused to see a dog taking the elevator by himself. Yeah.
Hector would never go in the elevator by himself. He doesn't want to go outside.
He hates to go outside. He would never. He's the weirdest dog. I don't know. You try to take him outside, he'll run and he'll faint.
He does do that. He like literally collapses.
Yeah. He's under my chair right now. Claire, what's the most romantic thing that happened to you this week?
Okay, mine is that I went to the coffee shop on 85th, Variety, and this was like a couple days ago, and I saw two sisters reading side by side different books and like not talking to each other. They were also like probably like 8 and 10. Yeah, sitting next to each other. They also like there were no tables left at the coffee shop, so they were like sitting on the ground reading together and like not speaking to each other at all. And the mom was just like so happy. And like she and I made eye contact and had like a I respect your reader children moment. And it was just really sweet.
And like, you know what? Not to bring the mood down, but I get really like emotional when I see a child read because it's so rare.
Yeah.
Like, I see a child like in a book ignoring his family at a restaurant. I'm like, yes, dude.
Yeah, that's the coolest person at that restaurant.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, I get so excited when I see that.
Yeah, I felt the same way. I was like, this is so, and they were both so into it that they were like, there was like no one else there, you know?
I wish I could read like I was a kid again because I would like nothing else existed when I was reading.
Claire and I talk all the time.
Like, the world, like, you know.
Yeah.
We're like, when the economy collapses and we're all just like on UBI and like eating government cheese, we are just going to read all the time.
Yeah, we can't wait. We'll have so much time to write.
Store of stories up there, okay? We'll be the ones who are fine.
Yeah.
Who else? Us and the dragons.
Yes. Yeah. Well, I think that's it. Do you have anything else? Otherwise, this has been such a pleasure. Thank you so much.
It has been so lovely talking to you guys. Thank you so much for getting me on. Also, the listeners won't know, but you guys struggled to get me on because I just didn't answer my emails like days at a time. And then I'd be like, I don't know, do it. So I'm glad we could finally do it. It has been so lovely.
We're also kind of bad at email. So it's kind of a match made in heaven.
Thank you so much.
Yeah,
it's been
thank
so
you.
Lovely chatting.
All right. Well, bye, I guess.